Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, and today we are assembling the Ruins of a Lost Age title box with 4 freaking factions. This is including 3 models: Tiri the Architect, which is this artwork, the Unseelie Engine, this is this guy, and Kastore Fervent, which is this thick lad. Renders on the back is also in that order: Tiri, Unseelie Engine, and Kastore. Let's look at them. So why don't we just assemble them in that order? Alright, let's look at the Sprus. Okay, we've got 3 different Sprus. Well, I guess technically 2 Sprus. 2 of them on the same block, or whatever. Noticing that they are actually quite a lot fewer bits than I was expecting for how detailed they are, but hooray for that, I'm not going to complain. But Tiri's over here, here's Kastore, and this is the Unseelie Engine, so let's clip out Tiri and get started on her. Here's Tiri. We are going to grab the 2 halves of the body first, like normal, and then it looks like there's a particular order of operations for the stuff that goes on her back, so we're going to go ahead and follow those. I believe, looking at what we've got, this one goes on first, and followed by this one, and then we'll combine the 2 parts of the robot and attach that to the back as well. And then as far as her face goes, put that on, add the ribbon to it as well, and figure out her arms. They might have to go on at some point in that order, but that's the general setup. I'm pretty sure we can start with B3 and B1. B3 and B1. Alright, now let's get started on the back. Alright, I think we're going to grab B5 first, put that on the back, and then B7, which will also go on the back. After that, B8, I believe, should go on, just to connect it, because I believe this connects to B7. And then we'll combine the B4 and B6, add that to this wherever it goes. Once that all's done, we'll add B2 to her face, and B9, the extra ribbon that's also attached to her head. So grab B5. So B5 is going to go in here, and the longer ribbon will go around towards her front. There we go. Now B7 is going to go right along there. Oh, it will also connect right here, which is why you need to put this bit down first. There we go. All good. Let's turn her over and grab B8, her staff and left arm. Okay, 2 things. One, what I thought was the extension of this ribbon is in fact the extension of this ribbon, so this is a connection point as well as the elbow. And also this thing up here is actually just part of the sprue, and you can clip it off. Just compare it to the render. Didn't realize it wasn't part of the staff. But after that, I dropped my sprue. Give me a sec. And B4 and B6. B4 plus B6. Okay, so you see the connection point on the ribbon, sorry, right there, corresponds to, grab something to poke with, pokey stick. Yeah, here's the connection point on the robot. So, robot is going to be kind of hanging like that. Alright? Okay, that's what it looks like on the front, and let's get a better view of the back there. Yeah, pretty good. Okay. Now grab, what is it, B2? I think that's B2, her face, and I'll jam it on the face. Okay, there's our face. I probably should adjust my light if I can. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, last bit, B9, is going to go right between her hand and her head in that hole, and you can see this groove in her arm, which is another connection point. And once we got that on, we're done. Alright, that was somewhat difficult, but you have plenty of time to just gently nudge it into place. That's the angle you're looking for. Yeah, you just gotta hook it around the arm and keep going until this is as far in as you can get it, and this is firmly attached to her, the bottom part of her upper arm. So we're good. Get her on a base. Tiri the Architect is done. Hardest parts was the ribbon, the last bit we put on there that was attached to her head and where it loops around her arm. That was just a little fiddly. Getting the robot on there correctly was also just a little unsettling, but as long as you let the rest of her cure before then, you're not going to nudge anything out of place. But I'd still say overall pretty easy build. So, yeah, that's it. Let's move on to our gyroscopic boy. There is our Unseelie Engine. Going to pretty much do this in two builds. We're going to do the body and then the inner rings, and then attach the inner rings to, this big thing. So we're going to cut this guy out first. We're going to add his head plus his, I believe this is the right leg, perhaps, and the left leg, one of the legs. And once those are together, then we're going to go ahead and clip out the this ring, add the inner, I believe this is the innermost ring, to it, and then add both of them to this one, and then the combined group into here. All right. So let's cut out C2, and then we will add C5 first. C2 and C5. Now grab C7. It's going to be our right leg. C7's in. Now C1, the left leg. There we go. And our Neely dude is done. Now let's look at our rings. Okay. Cut out C6 and C4. C4 is going to go on the inside of C6. Cut that little bit off. That's needed. And once those are combined, we'll add them to C3. And then we'll combine that with the rest of the body. All right, so grab C6 and C4. Oh, and whoops, note that this chunk is supposed to be part of the bit. Don't cut it off. Okay, this is the orientation we're looking at. It's going to sit, perpendicular to the ground like that. And then this guy is going to go through and, become part of that. The connection points are right here and right here, and they will correspond with, you can see in there and here. We're looking at the bottom right now, so. All right, this is what we are looking at. Okay, now grab our last bit, whatever that one was, C3. Okay, looking orientation is going to end up being perpendicular. Usual, here's a connection point, and then here's the other connection point. They correspond to, on this guy, let me see if I can find it. The first one will be right there, so it's not actually like a slot in like the previous two, and then here is a slot in for the second connection point. So this guy's going to sit about right here in orientation, and that's going to go in like that. Right there they are combined. See the connection point as well as that connection point in there. Now our final connection points is going to be this down here and this up here, and what that corresponds to right there and right there. So like this, although I think I need to put it in through that way. Honestly enough, that one just kind of pops into place, but here we are, and he's actually all done. Let's get him on a base. The Unseelie Engine, or Mr. Unseelie Engine to you, is done. Hardest part was just getting the rings to slot in correctly and knowing their orientation. Showed you how that worked. It's fine. Possibly I think Kastore is going to be even easier, but pretty easy model overall. Let's move on to our big, giant man who can't hold all these limes. Here's our Spru for our last big boy. Two halves of the body first, A2, and I can't read that. A1, okay. A2 and A1, combine those first, and then we'll do A5, the other leg, followed by the left arm, A7, the right arm, A8, the head, A6, then the left wing, A4, and the right wing, A3. All right, grab A2 and A1. A1 and A2. Now let's get A5, the left leg, and skirt. Leg and skirt is on. Now A7, the left arm. Easy to put in. Now A8, the right arm. Okay, Kastore's got both his arms. Now let's do A6, his head. Oh, he sneezed and now his hands are all gross. Turn around. We're going to do A4 our left wing and A3 our right wing. There we go. We're all done with Italian Kastore. Let's get him on a base. Kastore Fervent is all done. Pretty easy build, the only problem being that there's quite a few gaps and pieces where if you don't squeeze them tightly, then the gap will lead to other bits not connecting very well. Like you can see the back of his right arm where the 3-bit connection point has kind of got a ridge on it, and his left arm was a little bit difficult to get to connect to the wing, so be cautious of that. Squeeze them as hard as you can, do some trimming if you need to, and you should be okay. Other than that, it was just a lot of mold line cleaning. An easy model overall. Let's look at the rest of the box.